A Michigan sugarcane facility will close its doors in 2020. Southeast Michigan farmers are answering the call to improve Great Lakes water quality, and Michigan Ag Commodities' Chris Betts has your market report. I'm Janelle Brose, and this is Farm News 5.
Farm News 5 is brought to you by Ford.
A cane sugar facility in southeast Michigan, owned and operated by Michigan Sugar Company, will close early next year. The Bay City-based Sugar Beet Cooperative says the loss of a deep water port for the unloading and delivery of sugarcane led to the decision to shutter the Amcane plant. As a result, close to 100 employees will be laid off in February of 2020. The closure comes just 3 years after Michigan Sugar purchased Amcane in an effort to meet consumer preferences for specialty products and organic sugars. Farmers in southeast Michigan's Western Lake Erie Basin are rising to the challenge of protecting and improving water quality in the Great Lakes. And the overwhelming participation in the soil testing to reduce agriculture's nutrient delivery, or STRAND, cost share program is evidence of farmers' dedication to be a part of the water quality solution and not the problem.
So the STRAND program is a 3-year grant providing cost share for producers to implement precision ag technologies and enhance their nutrient management strategies. So they're able to find a level in the grant that fits their needs. If they're starting out, they can enhance their soil sampling progress by getting more thorough samples taken, and then move on to level 2, where they're able to implement variable rate technology in their nutrient applications. Level 3 is working with an MSU extension educator to work on yield monitor calibration to get more accurate yields to help influence their nutrient applications. And level 4 provides cost share for equipment to purchase some of these new technologies, and adapt their equipment to allow them to do these things to encourage long-term, behavior change in implementing some of these practices. So right now, Jerry Heck is a Monroe County producer working on level 3 in the STRAND project. So he's working with Ricardo Costa, the MSU extension field crop educator, to calibrate his yield monitor on his combine. So what he's doing is calibrating that so he has accurate information on his yield, so that can help influence his nutrient management for next year. So when he unloads the combine into the grain cart, they're looking to weigh that load so that they can get an average weight of what's coming out of the combine, and they're going to average that out over 4 loads at different speeds so that they can calibrate that information in the combine. And then they're going to look at things like the moisture of the grain when it comes out, the temperature, in the environment, and then the vibration of the combine that all influence that weight factor.
While the current grant project is specific to the Western Lake Erie Basin, the value of precision yield calibration could apply anywhere farmers are harvesting row crops, and it provides financial, nutrient management, and water quality benefits.
So this is the first time that a program with this model has been really implemented, maybe elsewhere in Michigan, but it's the first we've seen for the Western Lake Erie Basin, and it's had a huge success and a ton of interest. So we're hoping that this will kind of become a model, for other private funding sources going forward that can be implemented on a large scale, like in a watershed.
All farmers in the Western Lake Erie Basin are eligible for this program, which runs through 2021. To learn more, farmers should contact their local conservation district office.
If you want a car from a company that's been building them for 115 years, get a Ford. If you want a car with driver assist technology, get a Ford. You're gonna want a Ford.
It's been over a week since Dean Foods, one of the largest dairy processors in the country, filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy, and little more is known about how this will impact the dairy industry overall. We do know that Dairy Farmers of America is engaged in discussions with Dean Foods over the sale of assets. When and what DFA may purchase is uncertain.
After the announcement with Dean Foods making their bankruptcy announcement, we've had a lot of communications with our members through our field staff, through our newsletters. We've had conference calls with our council members around the nation to talk about what's been going on. I think the most important message to all our members is right now that you are going to get your milk check. That's going to be on time and going to be paid fully for. And your milk's still going to be picked up and it's going to be delivered. We're honoring our contracts with Dean Food. Ever since their announcement on November 12th, there's been a lot of discussion regarding DFA and purchasing Deans and whether it's wholly or part of their assets. What we're really looking at is ensuring that our members have a way to market their milk And as part of DFA, we're going through this process right now of doing our due diligence, looking at Dean's Foods, their operations. It's got a lot of moving parts at this time.
Time to renew your land lease? Review Foster Swift's guide to land lease agreements at fosterswift.com.
The Michigan Department of Agriculture and Rural Development just wrapped its most recent international trade mission. Participating Michigan companies and commodity groups traveled to 3 different cities in China from November 8th through the 12th to meet with buyers, learn more about the Chinese market, and to hopefully increase sales.
So the department plans and takes these international trade trips for multiple different reasons. One is to help our agricultural business community set up connections for great opportunities overseas in China and in other countries over the years, to give them an opportunity to sit down and meet face-to-face with possible clients in those countries. So the companies hope to meet with existing clients that they have in those countries, as well as establish new connections with possible clients in those countries. The department looks to strengthen relationships with our in-country representatives from the USDA, as well as get a better feeling for what the business markets are for those countries, so we can help promote those opportunities for businesses here in the state of Michigan. So for cherry products in particular, there was a lot of interest from a frozen and dried perspective. There were a lot of companies that came in looking specifically to talk about cherries. We actually had a cherry event on the first night in Guangzhou, and it was very well attended, and we left those meetings and the dinner that followed with very high expectations for increased business opportunities. Well, in particular, with China, we can tell you that in 2018 we had $124 million worth of exports just to China. So this is a very big market and a very big opportunity for Michigan commodities and Michigan food products. And there is always an opportunity for Michigan to export not only domestically but internationally, because we are able to produce so much because of our great environment that we have here. We've had confirmed success stories that make it well worth it to continue these efforts.
And now with a look at the latest market activity, here is Michigan Ag Commodities' Chris Betts.
Thanks, Janelle. A soft tone for corn and beans this week, as trade uncertainty and questions of demand in 2020 are lending pressure. Harvest continues to drag on in the northern Midwest, which is threatening for crops, but this is not news to the trade and is doing little to lend support. Comments on trade negotiations with China continue to indicate a deal is far from being put to paper, adding to uncertainty for U.S. export prospects in 2020, which is a limiting concern for the trade. Chinese feed demand has been curbed because of ASF, and the absence of a trade deal will continue to hang over traders' heads. U.S. beans and corn will also face stiff competition from South America, and corn exports are already off to a slow start for the 2019-2020 marketing year. Chart-based buying should lend some technical support in the near term, but demand uncertainty will weigh on trade. For more market information, go to michag.com. With Michigan Agricultural Commodities, I'm Chris Betts.
For more news and video, visit MichiganFarmNews.com and the Michigan Farm Bureau channel on YouTube. With Farm News 5, I'm Janelle Gross. Have a great week of farming.